Now we're going to look at something entirely different, from the conflict and the dueling that you just saw to cooperation in the art forms. In Vancouver, a group of young artists have been experimenting and relating their ideas to each other through the visual arts, sculpture, this type of thing. They call themselves Intermedia.
47 loop process outgoing and still as exposed to the full frame. Splice slip and splice circle, reverse the long shot.
Intermedia is a space. It is a space where individual artists can come and work at their own thing.
Okay, first thing I want to ask you then is, what is this theater group?
Well, it's these people right here, and me, and well, we're concerned with doing anything that's vaguely connected with theater, but we're mostly concerned with mime, and mostly concerned with taking mime out of theaters and putting it into well, the non-formal setup, streets, parks.
You talk about moving out into the streets. Now, when you're out in the streets, exactly what does that involve? What do you do there, you know?
It can be anything from a performance of a scripted play, like A Midsummer Night's Dream, in a new setting, to a happening, and all the points in between. For the most part, it will be some kind of a performance where we recreate a space somehow.
Well, someone mentioned to me before that basically the idea of this group was just for the fun of it, nothing more. Now, how true is that?
Well, it has to be for the fun of it, or it won't work. You know, I think that's the same with anything.
Okay, you talked about what the theater company is, or what we are, and that's what we are. Is I think we try and have fun. We work hard at it, but we try and have fun, and we're going to want the people who watch us to have fun. And that's how they will participate, is by having fun with us and thinking that we're working with a sense of fun, and that perhaps sometime walking through Stanley Park or something, or walking down Georgia Street or someplace like that, they can, for a change, have some fun.
Can I ask you this? How has Vancouver received this type of theater, and in particular this theater group?
I anticipate some problems, and I think that even if we work with the greatest of intentions and with the greatest of honesty, and just with the simple aim of being delightful, that our presence is going to intimidate a lot of people.
5, 4, 4, 5. 4. It's FA, 4, 150 FA. 5, 1600 5, 10 to 5 degrees. 5 over 8 B 0.08 749 AC equals 8. 5 10 to 5 degrees equals BD 4 4 4 4 5 finally X squared 4 5 music can move into 4 4 5 4 0.08 749 CD is 52.444. Music can move. Music can move into 4 4 5.
When did you first get interested in music?
Let's see, well, 'Cause before I could walk, I know that. I must have been crawling. And there was this instrument over in the corner of the old folks' living room, and I made my way across to it. And I managed to play 2 or 3 bars from Tannhauser. I guess that was about the earliest that I can remember.
Who had the most influence on your piano playing technique? Who would that be?
There's a fellow that's been neglected a lot lately. His name's Rudolf Frimmel. If you're a movie fan of the 30s, you'll remember he wrote Naughty Marietta and some of those old movies dedicated to our great police force, the Royal Canadian Police Force, with Nelson Eddy. Rudolf Frimmel is 88, and he claims he's been playing the piano longer than any man alive.
How did you arrive at your present concept of music, the concept you've just shown us here?
Well, I didn't want to really let that one out because it's kind of embarrassing. When my folks back in the 30s, they got this whole wind-up phonograph complete with some 78 records, and Humphrey Littleton and Gene Colquitt and all those guys. All you could hear was scratching, so I really thought that the surface noise on Humphrey Littleton records was what was happening, and I've been trying to imitate that ever since.
What is your basic concept in running Intermedia?
The basic concept of running it is really one of providing the utmost freedom for individuals to do exactly what they want to do. Because when you're in this realm of experimentation, you can't dictate. You can't say, well, that doesn't work, this works. You have to let things go. You might give advice at certain moments, but basically it is a matter of just following this kind of experimentation, and perhaps at certain moments inject another medium.
What is your role in Intermedia?
Well, my title is Executive Director, which essentially means that I'm trying to organize the traffic that is happening in this building. We've got a 3.5-story building, and there is, of course, a lot of demand for the various different spaces, so we have to try and accommodate as many people as possible. Also, to initiate certain kinds of new projects and some sort of cooperation between the various different arts.
Can I ask you what you're doing?
Playing back your conversation for you,
You're playing back our conversation?
so that people won't get confused by what you're saying.
Okay.
Almost like instant playback, but not quite, which is very interesting in the psychological sense, isn't it? Psychologists have been experimenting with this sort of thing in order to find out what the capacity of the human brain is.
Is this group always this zany?
Well, this is a matter of experimentation. I think this is very fascinating to find out where the possibilities are. Most of the people working here are really working at the sort of, as somebody once said, the cutting edge of discovery. And when you have this sort of a situation, you don't find any bounds. There are no boundaries. You're just experimenting as far as you can go, and this is where the exciting things then happen.
What do you see in the future for Intermedia?
I would like to see Intermedia go into productions where more people cooperate and where more electronic material is going to be used, and perhaps new experimentations implemented in a theatrical, in a dramatic sense, or in an exhibition sense. I think we haven't explored media as a possible way of bringing about greater understanding of things that at the present time are perhaps still very hazy and not clear.
sitting here with Dennis Vance in front of what?
Thing that I call Fat Emma.
Can you tell us exactly what this thing is?
Sort of a sound sculpture.
And how does it work?
You have to think of it sort of as a sort of a mound of sound, and in that sound is streaks of different sounds, and then these balls, you let them go, and they pick up the sounds.
Intermedia is a space. It is a space where individual artists can come and work at their own thing.
This is the CBC Television Network.